Shalom, Israel. This is the Israel School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Command of General Yohana. We're coming to you out of Chicago. This is the closing of the Feast of Purim. We're going to go into the book of Esther and study about our sister that loved her nation so much, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing that our women today have gotten away from, having this feminine spirit and obedience of following instructions. So once again, man, Salakia for the delay on getting in. We was having technical difficulties. And so once again, man, these sisters of the day in these churches, man, they say they always talk about how the Lord is speaking to them, or they got a relationship with the Most High and all this other stuff. But it seems like every woman in America right now today is geared towards having what I can say, what they call women's lib. You know what I'm saying? Not being told what to do, not following instructions. This my body, this my choice attitude. You know what I'm saying? But this sister Esther, she was so amazing, and that's why the Most High saw it fitting that her story was put into the Bible for us to learn about and to see that it is a lot of sisters in this Bible that the Most High do love. You know what I'm saying? Like they were saying last night in the school, the brothers brought out, well, a lot of these people we're accused of not loving our women. You know what I'm saying? Which is very untrue. There's no truth in that. You know what I'm saying? Sex is marriage, right? And we do love our sisters. You know what I'm saying? By teaching them and showing them how they should carry themselves, how they should dress. You know what I'm saying? How to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? Sex is marriage. But we're gonna go ahead and get ready to get off into this the reading of Esther chapter 1 and verse 1.
Come. This is the book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 120 provinces.
Now that's a lot of land for a man to be rulership over, man. That's this guy right here, Ahasuerus. He was the king at this time, and he ruled far distances over many regions and things of that nature, man. But you got to remember, he was not part of the so-called Israelites. Read.
Verse 2. That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was at Shushan the palace.
Salaki, we're gonna Officer Mayad has made it here, man. We're gonna turn the class over to the brother, man. Right. He's a heavy teacher. You know what I'm saying?
Water, sir. Appreciate it. All right, shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashai Barakatah to the brothers, Yahweh Shemalatah Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. Once again, as Officer Aram was saying, you know, this is the Feast of Purim. You know what I mean? One of the many feast days that we have. It's not a high holy day, it's a feast day. You know what I mean? But this is one of the days that we sit back and celebrate some of the great people in our culture, in our nation. And Purim is dedicated to that sister Esther, who in her time, through being a righteous, a feminine woman, saved Israel. And she didn't save Israel like they show on the movies. You know what I'm saying? Esther didn't throw on some armor and dress like a man, pretend to be a man, you know what I mean? Or try to usurp authority over a man. No, Esther saved Israel by being a woman.
That's right.
Through her femininity and her wisdom and being wise and being raised by a wise man. You know what I mean? And following instructions, not fighting back against, you know what I'm saying, the instructions that she was given, you know what I'm saying, by what's the brother? Mordecai. You know what I mean? So that's what we're gonna get into. So right now we're gonna set the stage to show you how everything began. So go ahead, Mariah.
Verse 3. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media.
So this king, you know what I'm saying, like Officer Ron was saying, this dude, he ruled from India all the way down to Ethiopia. India is gigantic. Ethiopia is gigantic, and there's plenty, and I mean plenty of land in between. You know what I mean? So this dude was powerful, extremely powerful in his day. You know what I mean? Probably the most powerful man he could possibly have been. He's one of the most powerful men on earth. You rule from India to Ethiopia and everything in between. You are, if not the most powerful man, one of the most powerful men on the face of the planet. So this guy, this heathen was nothing to laugh at. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Khan, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him, when he shewed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days.
So he threw a party. He threw a big celebration. You know what I mean? And that's like that's how you keep people loyal to you. You bring them out. You bring them together. You celebrate with them. You drink with them. You laugh with them. You share stories with them. You know what I mean? He threw a big celebration and he brought all the most important people in his empire together. All the heads of the lands, or the 120 something odd provinces that he ruled over. He brought all the princes and the noblemen and the muckamucks and the hierarchy and the Trumps and the Bushes and you know what I'm saying? The Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons. And, you know what I'm saying? He brought all them high, the Obamas and the Kardashians. He brought all the high muckamucks together. Keep going.
Even in 104 score days.
For 104 score days. That is 140. No, what's that? 104 scores. I believe that's 144 or 184 days.
No,
184 days. That's a heck of a party. Keep going.
Verse 5. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace. Both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace.
So he gathered all these people over 100 and some odd days. He got that's kind of like having a conference. And once those days were over, he threw a giant feast in the yard of the palace. And it said both great and small. So not only do you got the Obamas, you know what I'm saying, and the Bushes and the Trumps and the Clintons, but you also got Pookie and Ray Ray and Nuck Nuck, you know what I'm saying? The great and the small, you know what I'm saying? You got Frank Lucas over there, and then you got his soldiers there too. You know what I'm saying? You got the rich men and you got the poor all gathered together in the land, having a feast together. Everybody's drinking, everybody's eating, everybody's celebrating, everybody's having fun. This guy, he knew how to rule people. You know what I'm saying? He knew how to keep his power and keep the respect of his people. Keep going.
Verse 6, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen.
You can skip down to verse 7.
Verse 7, and they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king.
So that's what I'm saying. They got gold vessels. They had gold cups that everybody's drinking out of. And royal wine. Now, the royal wine is the best of the best. And it was in abundance, according to the state of the king. The state of the king is very, very rich. You know what I mean? So so picture this. Young or rich or poor, everybody eating good, everybody's drinking good. You know what I'm saying? According to the state of the king. He's in a good mood. He's in a good state. He's in a good place. Everybody's in a good place. Keep going.
Verse 8, and the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Verse 9, also Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
So now, everybody's drinking according to the law, whatever their law was about drinking. All right? Everybody's doing everything in order. No one's breaking the laws of the land. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's doing their thing in their own house and in the courtyard, the officers of the house. And then this queen over here, she decides to throw a party for the women in the royal house. Now, she's throwing a party in his house for the women. Keep going.
Verse 10, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bista, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abictha, Zadar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
So he sent his chamberlains to go and yo, go get her. Now keep in mind, she's throwing a big party in his house. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's throwing a ladies' party, which he's allowing. You know what I mean? So he's like, man, you know what? He got a little bit of wine up in him. He feeling good. He like, man, yo, shorty bad as hell. Y'all want to? I'm telling you, she bad. Look, hey, yo, go get her. Go get her and bring so y'all can see how fine she is. Man, y'all think I'm hot. You know what I mean? You know how people get when they get the drinking.
Right.
King's feeling good. He feeling it. And yo, go bring her. She the baddest chick in the land. She the baddest bitch in the land. Go bring her. Come on, watch. So he all good. Everybody laughing. They joking. They in good spirits. Keep on.
Verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains.
And now she refused to come. This is the king. This is the king that rules from India to Ethiopia and everything in between. This is the king who rules over 127 provinces, got all these princes and all of these important people gathered together, letting her throw a party for just strictly a girls' party in his house. And when he called for her, she refused it. The pride of a wicked heathen woman. That same spirit has rubbed off onto our sisters today.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
One wicked ass woman can spoil thousands, millions. You got a sister, she's in order, and she may have a friend, a relative, an acquaintance, a co-worker, somebody who she speaks to and gets in her ear, and that wicked, miserable bitch will ruin your woman.
That's right.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This chick, I almost called her sister, but this is not a sister. This is a heathen. Because she's a queen, and we don't have queens. I know everybody say, what up, king? What up, queen? It's only one king, that's Yahweh Shai. That's it. Ain't no other kings on this earth. Everybody else is just pretending. And we definitely don't have no queens over Israel.
Right.
Israel has never had a queen.
Right.
Even though this sister right here is Queen Esther, I have a cousin named after her. Her name is Queen Esther. You know what I mean? If you looked at Sanford and Son, Esther on Sanford and Son was Queen Esther. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was a very common name in our community. Glory for that. That's how glorious this sister was and how powerful she was, and recognize that even unto modern times, we have named our daughters after her. She was Queen Esther, but guess what? She was not a queen over Israel.
Right.
She's a queen, as you'll see in this, she's a queen, over this heathen land, not over Israel. Continue.
Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
And rightfully so. They came back saying, I'm sorry, sir. She said no. She said she ain't coming nowhere. I mean, the nerve of this broad. You know what I mean?
Right.
The nerve. I mean, this is the most powerful man in the world to them. Maybe in the world at that time. Definitely one of the most powerful, one of the richest men in the world. Which goes to show you riches, all that power, all the riches, all that stuff, it really don't mean a damn thing.
That's right.
Women will have you out there. Over half the brothers in jail right now are in jail because of a woman.
Right.
They either sold drugs to impress that woman, they beat that woman, they killed that woman, they robbed somebody for that woman, they killed somebody for that woman. You know what I mean? It's brothers that are in jail. Over half the brothers in jail right now are there either directly or indirectly because of a woman. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, all that power, all that money, all of that mayhem, all that gangsterism that you do don't mean a damn thing, because that woman will go and have sex with whoever she pleases and disobey you. Look at what was that Tiana Taylor and that heathen that she just divorced. She taking she got 6 figures in the no, she got 7 figures in the divorce. You know what I mean? She got half of this and a piece of that, and 4 houses and cars and jewelry, and then gets alimony of like $8,000, 80 grand a month or something crazy like that. This chick has got 6 figures, and all of his wealth, all of his perceived power did not keep that woman. You know what I mean? You know what keeps women? You know, really attracts women? You know what keeps women, and no matter what? Masculinity.
Right.
Your masculinity. It don't matter who you are. If you are not masculine enough, a woman will not follow you. Period. And you still could be the most masculine man in the world, and a woman is going to do what a woman is going to do. Just don't chase her. Anyway, so go ahead.
Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise man, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law, that knew law and judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And the next unto him was Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marcina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she had not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes, and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus.
He said, man, so all the king's wise men got together, and they were contemplating with the king, what should we do to this? What should we do to her? What should be done? This is an insult. And this cat jumped up and said, let's be for real. She didn't insult the king. She didn't just insult the king. She insulted all the princes. She insulted everybody that's here celebrating by refusing the king's order. And the reason is because all these princes are powerful men.
Right.
All these people, some of these people are very powerful people. They came at the order and behest of the king from wherever they were throughout the province. They packed their stuff up. They got their entourages, even the civilians. They packed their stuff up. They pulled their family, their caravan, whatever they did. The king said, come, everybody came. Except this chick. And she got the nerve to be in the king's palace, in his house, throwing a party, and then don't want to come when he called. Like but that's the gall of an attractive woman. A beautiful woman, regardless of if she's a heathen or a sister, has the propensity to let her looks get to her head. She was probably thinking, oh, here come old thirsty ass king calling me. Tell him I ain't in the mood. Tell him I'll come when I'm ready. You know what I mean? She feeling herself because she looked good. And she know the king that got something to drink and he want to come show her off. And I ain't in the mood. Oh, goofy king. You know what I mean? Y'all know how women get. You know what I mean? And that's the spirit. That spirit right there is the same spirit that infests our sisters right now. And they need to get that demon off of them.
Right.
Stop listening to your girls. First off, stop being big-headed. It don't matter how you look. It don't matter what you got. No one really gives a damn.
Right.
Because just as good as you look, there is somebody that looks better. Believe it or not, the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, I saw a woman that was more beautiful. You know what I mean? And then there's somebody that's more beautiful than that. So it's all subjective. So your beauty don't mean nothing. You can have degrees, you can have cars, you can have 6, 7, 8-figure salaries. You can make all the money in the world. You can have all the education that you want. So what? At the end of the day, a man wants a woman. It don't matter what you got. It don't matter if you work at Wendy's or on Wall Street. A man wants you because he wants you. He wants the woman. He doesn't want all that extra baggage that comes along with you. He don't care if you drive a Maserati or a Mercury. You know what I mean? It don't matter. If you got a bus pass or a Bentley, we don't care. If we like you, if we're attracted to you, it's you. Right. Not more so, not necessarily how you look, and definitely not what you got. Keep going.
Come, 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported.
I say, now this thing that she did, this is a plague. This is a virus. It's going to affect all the women. Once it's reported, that means once it's told and once it's heard, all the women in the whole empire are going to act a fool. They are going to turn against their husbands. They're going to become disrespectful. They're going to become unruly. They're going to turn their households upside down. Because if this queen can do that to the king, then who the hell is your wife to obey you? You obey the king. The king said, come on, and you came. The king told her to come. She didn't come. She said, go ahead, old goof-ass king. So now what you think that she's going to do, what your wife is going to do? She's going to follow this wicked woman's example. That is the problem that we suffer from today in today's society with Black, Hispanic, and Native American women. You all have followed the example of a nasty, bloodthirsty, disrespectful, disobedient, power-mad, power-hungry, monstrous monster of a woman, which is the Edomite-tess, the so-called white woman. Right. You know what I'm saying? You all have followed the example of our oppressor's woman and have lost your ever-loving mind. Right. You have the you have the gall and sheer gall and audacity to run around showing your stinking behind everywhere you go. You got your breast out, you got your butt out, you got your gut out, you got everything out. Don't leave nothing to imagination. Then get mad talking about men over-sexualize you. Sister, you're over-sexualizing yourself. That's right. Your whole image is sexual. The whole extension of your femininity and womanhood lies behind your body and your sexuality. When actually your womanhood is your femininity. What defines you as a woman is your feminine qualities, not your feminine wiles, as they say, not your breasts, not your behind. And you get the following after these women who the only thing they know as feminine, because they're very masculine women. Edomite women are very masculine, very. Okay, because they're cave people. What do you expect from Geico caveman's? What the cave woman? Right. If the caveman is a beast, what is the cave woman? A beast. Regardless of how you shave that fur off, they still beast. So you're following a beast, and if you follow a beast, you will become a beast. And that is what our sisters have become today. That's right. It is hard to get along with a lot of these sisters out here. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to hold decent conversations. Most of you sisters are so broken and torn up and beaten and battered inside that you cannot maintain a relationship more than 3 months to a year. After being in a relationship with a brother for a couple months, you find a way to fight and argue and push your way up out of that and run that man away. And Lord, behold, if he makes it a year or two with you, you're definitely going to try to drive that brother crazy and run him away. But we as men, we sit there and fight your madness and stand still. But what they saw back here, what this queen did, is the exact same thing that the white woman has done to our sisters today. Unfortunately, we are not in rulership. We are not in our kingdom. We don't have our king here. We don't even have we don't even have proper leadership over us as a people for the last several hundred years until 1969. Right, that's right. You know what I'm saying? 1969. Then we started getting proper leadership back on this earth for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But before 1969, all your leaders failed you. The civil rights era was a failure
That's right.
all around.
Right.
We lost our communities. We lost our businesses. We lost what little bit of identity we were trying to hold on to. And we lost our women. And we lost our women and we lost our families. All during the civil rights movement. Because the civil rights movement was one big failure.
That's right.
And every leader in the civil rights movement was a failure to Black people. It was not until 1969 when the Lord established the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge back on this earth, that real leadership began to come back on this earth for us. And we are the leaders. They had a king. He had councils. They saw what she did and they said, oh, no, that's poison right there. What she just did is going to poison every woman in our kingdom, and we can't have that. Keep going around.
And King Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
So you see what I'm saying? They're like, all the women of the land gonna say it to the king's princes. You know what I mean? All the women about to rebel once they hear what this, we got to do something. We got to set an example. Because if we don't, all our women are going to be rebellious. All our women are going to turn against us, and it's going to be hell on earth in our empire. Actually, their empire will fall because of that.
That's right.
When your woman is not in order with you, your household falls. Your society falls. Your nation, your civilization falls. Look at us. We can't get up as a people. We can't rise as a people, not just because we don't unify and we love our oppressors, but because our women rebel against us.
Right.
Our enemy, that woman, she appears to rebel in public, but in private, she's rubbing his back. She's making his meals. She's having his babies, telling you to go and abort your babies, but she's having his babies.
Damn right.
Telling you to rebel against your man, but she's obeying her man. Telling you you're strong and independent. You don't need no man. You can do this all by yourself. Black superwoman. In the meanwhile, she's at home, cooking, cleaning, having sex with her man, raising her man's kids, furthering her nation and her society, and living in the warm arms of white supremacy. While you are in the depths of black and brown struggling hell. Keep going.
Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the Jews let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
So now he said, all right, well, look, this is what we're going to do. We finna make a law. We finna put something in place, a royal order in place that this chick can never come in front of the king again. You don't want to come when I call you? Cool. You're banished. Don't come back. I never want to see your face again. And a matter of fact, get out. Get out my land. Get out my house. Get out of your estate. I'm taking all that. I gave you that. I'm in control. Get out. And I'm going to give it to somebody better. I'm going to give it to a chick that got her mind right. I'm going to give it to somebody who deserves it. You go. He exiled abroad. Took everything that she had and put it up for grabs for the right woman to come in and take it. Keep reading.
Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
He said, look, when this goes out, all the women gonna look, all the ladies gonna bow down. They're gonna give honor to their husbands, great and small. So not only is Michelle gonna give honor to Barack, but Pookie is gonna get honor from the prom queen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't gonna be no rebellion because they are not going to want to get everything taken from them and exiled out the land. You know what I mean? So they gonna, and guess what? Now you're gonna get in order. Now they're gonna get in order. You can be exiled. You can have everything taken from you, and then your husband can go out and get another woman, and everything that he had for you, all the dresses and the furs and the house and the waterbed and the car, all that, leave out the credit card, even the weave, leave that too. You going out barefoot and bald head, and then I'm gonna get that to somebody else. It's a lot. Keep going.
Verse 21. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of rebuking. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people.
Look, he said in every language from India to Ethiopia, put this in every house, in every land, in every language. So it ain't gonna be no confusion. Every house, every language throughout the whole land. This is law right here. Every man needs to rule over his house, period. All the women, you need to bow down to your husbands, period. Obey your man. He's the ruler. If you don't like it, you can be with Vashti, and all y'all bitches can leave.
That's right.
Get out. And that'll leave room for this man to get a woman that will obey him,
Right.
that will be in the right spirit. Now, this is a heathen man. Nevertheless, this is a man. And this is how it is. If your woman is that rebellious, now, we know we don't believe in divorce. You don't have to divorce her. That's okay. You can kick her out the house, though. She can get out your house, or you can leave. Y'all still married. Y'all don't have to live in the same spot. Now, brothers, I'm not saying run out the. There's some brothers right now packing their bag like, shit, off some of my y'all said I ain't got to be here no more. You know what I'm saying? No, get some counseling, get some therapy, work it out. However, what you can do, though, is go get you another woman. You can get another wife. You can have more than one wife. Hell, I've done it. Wife 2 out of order. It's only so many times you can warn anybody before it's time that if that warning is keep being warned, it's just words. And eventually that warning and the words gonna fall on deaf ears and it's not gonna be believed. You have to pull the trigger. If your wife is too unruly, if your wife is giving you misery, if she's like this chick, when you tell her to come, she don't come, go get you one that will. And give all the things that you were giving to that one to the other one. Because these things that you give to your wife are things that she earns. Right. If she's not an earner, she's not going to get it. She's not a winner. You get what I'm saying? You earn these things. We earn everything that we get from the Most High.
Right.
Everything that every brother in here got, from the shirts on our backs, the slaveries we got, the cars that we roll in, you know what I'm saying? The rank, especially the rank that we have, all of this is through the Most High. A lot of us brothers in this very room should not even be alive right now. We owe our very lives to the Most High.
That's right.
Because we was out here. You know what I mean? We obedient to the Lord, and he rewards us. And it's the same thing with your wife. And it's the same thing that he's telling these cats in his province. Rule over your house. And if your woman don't want to respect your rule, she can go. And she can be exiled along with that chick who is her superhero. She can go with Miss Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Right. Take your behind on. You, Miss Marvel, Wonder Woman, Invisible Girl from Fantastic Four, Storm from the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? I can go on. All y'all bitches leave. Get out. They're your heroes. That's good. You got some heroes. Go follow them. That's right. Because y'all don't belong here disrupting my king. You know what I mean? And an unruly woman does not belong inside of your house, Akim. You know what I mean? Go ahead, sir.
And look, and that's why it is so important for brothers in this school to follow counsel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Don't we've been taught over and over again. Don't be looking at the curves, the face, and all that. Get to know that woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you go get counseling and you'll get advice saying don't marry that one right there, and we'll do it anyway. And you wind up with a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Now you really need counseling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just I just wanted to bring that out. It's the men that's above us. It is extremely important to follow good leadership.
That's right.
To follow good counseling.
That's right.
Don't be led by your own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And don't be just doing anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of brothers today. What's so heavy about what you're bringing out with the story of Esther? There's quite a few men. Listen, I know. You know how many brothers I know that invested years, time,
Mm-hmm.
money
Mm-hmm.
into a relationship, and that woman still end up in bed with her pastor.
Yep.
Or with her best male friend.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature, man. And you got brothers out here that spent $80,000. This woman just got to have a lavish marriage, a big marriage in a big church. I heard with some chick she had about 2 or 3. She had 3 different wedding dresses.
Good.
But, I mean, come on, man. now look, they separated. She going her own way, and this nigga still in debt. Still in debt. He scratched. So I just wanted to bring that up, man. It's important to follow good counseling. Man.
That's right, and that's what this can. And yo. That's exactly the example that's just set in this first chapter of Esther. The king just gave counsel to his empire. He just put out there some good old marital counseling. I'm making this a law. Rule over your house. Don't be now we know in Israel, you don't be a tyrant in your house. You're not a lion in your house. You know what I'm saying? But you're not a pussycat either.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Rule with sound judgment. We all make mistakes. We lose our tempers. Things happen. Tempers flare. You might get to arguing and cursing and calling names and da. So you had a bad day. Shake it off. You can either talk about it and work it out, or y'all can just move on from it. However you want to do it. Shake it off. Keep it moving. You still run your house. You know what I mean? Keep going.
Come, chapter 2, verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. So
when his wrath was appeased after he passed this ordinance, he calmed down. He felt better now. You know what I'm saying? He remembered what she did. And the decree and what his decree against her was, which was get her out of here and let's find somebody worthy of her estate. You know what I mean? So then his servants was like, well, shoot, let's go get all the the good looking women of marital age. Let's get all the bad chicks in the land together for the king. Keep going.
Come, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of the heads, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. So
he said, look, let's go get all the baddest women in the land. We're going to bring them into the house of the women. This is the house that Vashti threw the party in. We're going to take them into the women's house. And then we're going to give them to the custodian. And he gonna gather them all together, and he gonna give them the purification products, which is some good old-fashioned soap and water. Wash that behind. Clean yourself. Put some perfume on. The purification products is to cleanse yourself and make yourself smell good and fresh and be presentable for the king, especially if the king decides that he wants to lay with you. Keep going.
Verse 4. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. So he said, look, whichever one pleases you, the baddest one, the one you like the most, let her be the queen. Instead of old big head over there. You know what I'm saying? And the king was like, word. You know what I'm saying? It pleased him, and he did it. He said, make it so. Go through the land, get all the baddest chicks, and I'm going to scoop. The baddest one is coming with me. Keep going. Verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Jew.
A who?
A certain Jew.
A who?
A certain Jew.
A certain Jew. Keep going.
Whose name was Mordecai,
Mm-hmm.
the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite.
There was a Benjamite brother named Mordecai in the castle. Keep going.
Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Zedekiah, the king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away.
It was a brother it was a Benjamite brother in that castle in slavery. You know what I'm saying? Just so happens when all this was going on, Mordecai was a servant there. He was a slave there. He was in captivity, just like we are today. Keep going.
And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Now, see, they said she was fair and beautiful. I'm going to tell you right now, Esther was fine. Esther was a beautiful sister, and she was a bad one. She was a bad look. They said fair, and they said go get all the fair virgins. Yeah, and they just said Esther was fair and beautiful. She was good looking. That's a beautiful sister right there, and she's probably shaped up. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
So it came to pass with the king's commandment, and his decree was heard. And when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him. And he speedily gave her her tidings. It's like he gave her her things for purification.
So when Haggai saw her, he was like, damn. It said the maid pleased him, and he obtained kindness. She obtained kindness for him. That's how bad she walked in the door. He was like, oh, hey, how you doing? You need anything? You look tired. You want to sit down? You want something? Get her some water. Get her some wine. Rub her feet. Get the purification items. Come on. Come on, get them. Get above all the other females. Get hers. Man, forget about them. Get hers, because he knew who the king was going to pick. That's how bad Esther was. The sister came, and immediately this brother melted and just, hey, how you? What you need? We're going to get you right in front of the king. You going to the front of the line. Get your purification products on. Keep going.
With such things as belong to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given to her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women.
Now that's, look, he gave her 7 maids out of the king's house and put her in the best place in the house of the women. That's how bad this sister was, man. She walked in and he was like, oh, yep, that's the one. You know what I mean? Keep going.
Esther had not showed her people, not her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
So he said Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred. You know what I mean? So she was modest. You know what I mean? Mordecai told her, look, don't show all the stuff that you just got. Don't be out here showing off. Keep yourself covered up. Be humble. Be modest. You know what I mean? You got the purification kit and all that. They're about to pick you. Be easy. Keep going.
Verse 11. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the woman's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women. For so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women.
So yeah, he had her 12 months cleaning herself. She purified herself with oil and sweet things to smell a certain way, to be a certain way. He wanted to make sure, you know what I mean? Keep going.
Then thus came every maid unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house.
Okay, go.
In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shagash, It's like Shashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name.
Look, the king, so after that, she went on to the second house, and the king saw her, he delighted at her, and then she went and didn't see him no more. But she was so bad, and the king was so, oh wow, so wowed by her that he called her by name. He went, hey, give me number 37. Now he's like, yo, where's Esther? A chick so bad he remembered her name. They ain't mentioned no other female, and I'm sure they lined up some bad looking women from all over the land. And Esther blew their socks off. That's why we keep telling you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, y'all are the absolute most beautiful women on the face of this earth.
That's right.
There's not a better, stronger, smarter, faster, more beautiful woman on this earth than you. You know what I mean? Keep going.
Verse 15. Now with the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the son of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go unto the king. She required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her.
So now here's the thing. She could have asked for anything she wanted at any given time. And all she asked for was nothing. She just took what was given to her. She didn't ask for anything extra. She didn't go bragging. She didn't go showing off to her people that she getting chose by the king. You know what I mean? She stayed. Mordecai told her to be easy and be humble and take it in stride, and that's what she did. You know what I'm saying? Which impressed them more. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 16. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus, unto his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month to Beth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
Esther, just by being a beautiful, humble, feminine sister, the king favored her above all the other virgins that were there, all the other women that were there. The king favored Esther the most because she wasn't trying to take extra. She wasn't being extra. She was just being a nice, beautiful, soft, feminine, humble sister. She didn't take more than was given. She didn't ask for anything else. Whatever they gave her, she took it with grace. You know what I'm saying? And as a reward, the king was crazy about her and put the crown on her head and made her the queen over Vashti's house. Keep going.
Verse 18. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king.
Keep going.
And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, that Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindness, nor her people.
Her kindred. That showed her kindred.
Esther had not showed her kindred, nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai.
She did what?
The commandment of Mordecai.
Esther did what Mordecai told her to do. You know what I'm saying? She didn't, I'm gonna do what I want to do. My body, my choice. I'm independent. This my mind. Can't no man tell me. Can't no group did that all that mouth. Mordecai told her, "Hey, chill. Look, don't tell your people. Don't go telling everybody. Don't just be cool. Be humble. Be you. Be good." And she was. And look where she's at now. So she followed more what Mordecai commanded her to do. Keep going.
Like as when she was brought up with him. In those days,
like she did when he raised her. Remember, he raised her from a little girl because her parents died. And as a grown woman, she followed what he told her, just like when she was a kid. She said, "Okay, Dad. Yes, Dad," and did what the hell she was told to do. She didn't rebel. Keep going.
In those days, while Mordecai sat at the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door were wroth, and sought to lay hand on the king of Ahasuerus.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree.
Mm.
And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
So Mordecai, chilling at the gate, heard these two cats conspiring against the king. And then he went and told Esther, and Esther went and had them, the Inquisition, the investigators. They went and investigated. It was an inquisition, and it was found out. And then them two cats got hung from the tree, and they made sure that they made a note of it in the King's Chronicles. You know what I'm saying? So Mordecai and Esther just saved the king's life. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Esther chapter 3, verse 1. After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
So everybody bowed to this cat. Mordecai's like, nah, I'm cool. I don't mind. My knees don't work like that. Keep going.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. He had told them that he was a Jew.
So the servants came like, man, why aren't you bowing to the king? Why aren't you bowing to get Mordecai? Was like, man, what up? He ain't even answer. So once they didn't get an answer, they ran back and told Haman. They went and snitched on him. Keep going.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he brought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is, the month Nisan, in the 12th year of the king of Ahasuerus, they cast pur, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month is the 12th month, that is the month Adar. And when Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom.
So now the people of Mordecai is us, the Jews, the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And this cat is so upset that he is determined. Not only does he want to kill Mordecai and everybody in his house, but he wants to kill all the Mordecai's people. He wants to unalive all the Mordecai's people. You know what I'm saying? That's just how wicked this cat is. Keep going.
Verse 8, and Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
See how he trying to hype the king up? Oh, it's these people, they everywhere, all over your kingdom. They're four corners, and they got their own laws. They don't even obey your laws. You know what I'm saying? They think they better than everybody. He's painting that picture, just like they do today. We're super predators. Black people this, black people that, Hispanic people this, Hispanic people that, Native people this. They put all of these stereotypes out there to make your enemy hate you even more than they naturally already do. Go ahead, sir.
So you think at that time our people were keeping the law, statutes, commandments?
Cut. I would say they were, because that's why he's like, they got laws that differ from yours. They got all these customs. They don't eat what you eat. They don't eat what we eat. They don't drink what we drink. You know what I'm saying? They don't celebrate when we celebrate.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got their own laws that they follow. So right there, that's a key letting us know they're Jews and they got their own laws, so that they were following the law, statutes, commandments. God. Keep going.
If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it unto the king's treasuries.
So he just said, look, they disrespecting you, sir. So why don't we put out a decree to destroy them, kill them all. Let's get rid of all of them. And matter of fact, I'm gonna sweeten it up. I'm gonna put a head out on them, $10,000 per head. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of the Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month. That was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring.
So now he done sealed it with the king's ring. He did the same thing that they did to Vashti. They put it in every house, and they put it in every province, in the public, in every language, across every land. The order to slaughter our people for no good reason. Keep reading.
13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
So he said, look, go out and we're going to destroy and kill all the Jews, all of them, young, old, little children, women, it don't matter. And we're paying $10,000 a head. You know what I'm saying? That right there for anybody else is a death sentence. But because we were following our own laws, even in captivity, we were following the laws, the Lord had mercy on us. You know what I'm saying? Because that right there is genocide. You're going to get wiped out. Keep going.
It's like, if I can right quick, can you imagine the fear that went across the land?
Oh, Carnival,
for the Jews, man. I can't even imagine that. That almost put you in the man that had ice messing with Isupk right now and then.
Facts.
Scared to go out and shop. Scared to just be out in the damn public.
Carnival. Matter of fact, that at the water, so that is an excellent example. That's right. That's what ICE is doing. That's what Donald Trump has done right now with our Isupk brothers. They can't. They're hiding in basements. They're hiding on the floors. They're hiding wherever they can hide. Just how the fake Jews hid during the Nazi regime. You know what I mean? To escape persecution. Keep going.
Verse 14. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day.
And look, now they done posted it. Get ready. We give the order. Go out and slaughter every Jew that you see by order of the king. So these cats done sat there and they done went and bought swords and they done bought axes and clubs and whatever else that they feel that they can use. So when the time comes and the order is given and the moment comes, they can go out and slaughter them some Jews. And this was an attempt at genocide. They were trying to unalive all of us, to the point where that we would not be here today celebrating the Feast of Esther, and I wouldn't even be sitting here teaching this class, because our ancestors, all of our forefathers, would have been unalived horribly. Keep going.
Verse 15. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. 4 verse 1. And Mordecai perceived all that was done. Mordecai had rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry. And that was our tradition. When something heinous happened, you know what I'm saying, that's how we would mourn. We would rent our clothes, you know what I'm saying, rent your clothes and tear your clothes. We would rent our clothes and, you know what I'm saying, put ashes, rub ashes on our face and everything, and put on a sackcloth and cover ourselves in sackcloth. That's how we mourn. Keep going. And came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Right. Now, once that came, that puts the whole nation, like we're about to be slaughtered. You imagine if somebody, you know, we got all these fancy phones and all this high technology, but what if a mass text came out from the United States government that said, attention, everyone. We're going to give the order on a particular day in July that we're going to slaughter all the nigger spicks and savages. July. That's it. We're just going to get rid of them all. It's time. They're a bunch of criminals and super predators, and we're disgusted by them. And it's just time to get them the hell up off the face of the earth. Can you imagine how you would feel knowing that at some day in time on June 15th, 2025, every heathen around you, white, Asian, Arab, East Indian, Somalian, you know what I'm saying, Hawaiian, Samoan, all of them are going to turn on you and your people and attempt to wipe you off the face of the earth. Can you imagine the sense of dread that had to be in the land for our people back then? Keep going.
So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Then called Esther from her top one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment for Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Isupk went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. Also, he gave them the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, and to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make request before him for her people.
So now it came to Mordecai, and he's like, man, I can't, like, pretty much like, I can't believe this. You know, so now he asked for a copy of the decree, and he's going to get it to Esther. And he's going to get Esther to do what she needs to do to get into the king's ear so that they can reverse this situation so our people don't get slaughtered.
Right.
Keep going.
And Isupk came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Isupk and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whatsoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, which is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I may not have been called, but I have not been called to come in unto the king 30 days, these 30 days. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
So he sent the word to her, and it came back, and he's like, okay, listen. All right, we done told her what it is, and she ain't responding quick enough. So look, how about this? Let me send another message. Don't get comfortable. Don't think just because you up in the king's house and he got a thing for you, you know what I'm saying, and you kind of got him wrapped around your little finger. Don't think you're going to survive when they start killing everybody. When that decree goes out to exterminate all the Jews, guess what? You might be a Benjamite, but you're a Jew. You're going to get slaughtered just like well, they don't say what Esther was, but Mordecai was a Benjamite, and he's a Jew. Esther's a Jew also. It's like, look, don't get ahead of yourself. You will, when the time comes, they're going to come in here and unalive you as well. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
For thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther made them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day, And also, and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. Chapter 5, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And this was so. So when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight.
The what?
That she obtained favor in his sight.
So now keep in mind, they didn't already laid their plan of what's going to happen. And the king saw Esther in the court. And of course, she saw favor in his sight. Every time he see her, he losing his mind. You know what I mean? Keep going.
And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be given thee to the half of the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther answered, If it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him.
Okay.
Then the king said, Cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther had said.
Mm-hmm.
So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther, At the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom, it shall be performed.
He said, listen, Esther, she's starting to move. Why? She's enacting the plan. He saw Esther, he all googly-eyed. He held out his staff, and she touched it or whatever, not that staff, but an actual scepter. And now he's enamored with it. Whatever you want, I'll do whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you want. She said, let's throw a banquet and bring Haman. You know what I mean? Bring Haman to the banquet. Let's throw a banquet. She's getting ready to, and then now he said, look, and then at the banquet, he said, yo, ask me whatever you want, even up to half of the kingdom. You can add anything you want up to half of the kingdom. Now, anything over half of the kingdom, I'm not going to give you, but I'll give you anything up to the equal value and up to half of my entire kingdom will be yours. That is a bad sister. I'm just going to keep saying that. Keep going.
Then answered Esther and said, My petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them. Now we'll do tomorrow as the king has said. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai at the king's gate, and he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai.
All right. And look, Haman came out all happy. He's going to go to the king. Then he see Mordecai. Once again, Mordecai not bowing to him. Mordecai ain't shuffling his feet for him. Mordecai standing strong like, man, F dude. And Haman is upset. Every time he see Mordecai, it ruin his day. Rakatha Yahweh Yahweh. That's how I want it. That's how we all should be when these heathens see us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We go out the camp, when they see us, it should ruin their god-darn day.
That's right.
Because seeing them every day of my life ruins my days.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he advanced him above the princes in service of the king. Haman said, moreover, Esther the queen did let no man come in unto the king, so I could come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared for but myself. And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king. Yet all his servants, this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
He said, look, man, I'm invited by the king, the servants, and he all hyped. Man, this is a great honor, but none of them mean nothing to me because I keep seeing that nigga right there. Just seeing him ruins my day. You know what I mean? So nothing that I've done. The invite from the king, his glory that he's imagining the king invited him for some glorious purpose. He's finna get rewarded and showered with, you know what I'm saying, land and titles, and you know what I mean. He think his life just finna be elevated. So he said, but none of that means nothing. As long as I got to see that goddamn Mordecai still not bowing down to me. Keep going.
Verse 14. Then said Zeresh his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet, and the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king.
Mm-hmm.
And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Zeresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there was nothing done for him.
So the king looked and said, okay. He opened up the books. He see in the books when Mordecai saved his life. Now this is saying the king is about to execute this order to get rid of. He's finna let it happen. He's gonna let it happen. What he don't care about the Jews. You know what I'm saying? He gains nothing from that. He's like, man, whatever. And then before this, he goes and he's reading through the books and he sees Mordecai's name. And then he said the description that Mordecai stopped two of his own guards from coming and assassinating him. And then he called all the wise people like, yo, when did he save my life?
Right.
I ain't even know nothing about this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they say, yeah, this is true. He did save you. Also, what reward? What do we do for him? What reward did we give him? We didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? His first day in the city.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? We should eat something here. I don't know if it's too late though for the order to put in that order for the chicken. Okay. But well, yeah, keep going.
Verse 4. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that they had prepared for him. Verse 5. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself?
Right. He said, man, what would you do for somebody the king wants to honor? He said, well, I'm gonna tell you what I do. You know what I'm saying? He thinking it's him. He thinking the king's trying to surprise him playing a game with him. So he done got hype. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighted to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king wished to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. And let his apparel and the horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal, whom the king delighted to honor.
So he's like, yo, what I would do, man, I would take the crown and put it on his head. I'd let him be like king for the day. You know what I'm saying? I get the finest of the king's robes and, you know what I'm saying, deck them out and have him put them on the horse and ride them, let everybody see him, ride him through town, give him some honor, let him rock the crown. King was like, oh, God. Keep going.
And bring him on the horseback to the street of the city and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate. That nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken.
You could imagine this thing. He was like, yeah, king, you should do this. The king said, oh, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. You can imagine, he's like, oh my God, this is it. This is that moment. I'm for the, yeah. And he said, man, look, so all that stuff that you just said, Good job. Go take that idea over here and make sure it happens for Mordecai. You know, this Haman class, I'm surprised he did not try to kill Mordecai like hands right then and there. You know what I mean? Because he just hyped himself up and the king just deflated his balloon. Keep going.
Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning, and having his head covered. And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that he had befallen him. Then said his wise men, and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him. While they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains, and hastened to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Now they told him, listen, man, I know you upset. That's a Jew. It's God with him. You come up against him, you gonna fail. You know what I'm saying? They trying to warn him. Go ahead.
I mean, what stand out to me with this too is how when Mordecai and Esther was talking, and she told him to get all the people that was in that region where they was at, and all of them put on sackcloths, all of them fast for 3 days. So like you say, all of them they in the right spirit, man, as far as being a nation of people.
Exactly.
And that just stand out to me. By them coming together like that, and the way the stories work, leading and going, how the Most High is with them. You know what I'm saying? And they show how power in the wrong hands, man, could be something else. That pride and all that. I'm noticing that this king, first he had 2 of his close people trying to kill him. Then this bastard come along and get a little power, and now he want to kill a whole nation.
Oh, right. He want to limit a whole nation of people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how it be, sir. That's power. Power can corrupt you. You know what I mean? Power will corrupt any man. So you get some money, you get a little bit of power, you better be careful. Keep going.
Esther chapter 7 verse 1. So the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther, on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed even to the half of the kingdom. And Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me and my petition, and my people and my request. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue. All through the enemy could not prevail, so I could countervail against the king's damage. So I could countervail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he, and where is he, that does presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and the enemy is this wicked Haman. And Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
And see how Haman that's how the Lord works. Haman just hung himself. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. He just killed himself. You know what I mean? He asking a decree for all the Jews to be killed. And he's not paying attention for the fact that Esther is a Jew and that she got the king wrapped around her little finger. You know what I'm saying? His anger, his hatred towards us blinded him, and it's his downfall. Now he done upset the king. Keep going.
Verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Now look, he didn't go on to plead his case to Esther because she see Esther got the king's ear. You know what I mean? And he pleaded this case so hard, like Officer Ward gave an example. You know what I'm saying? He pleaded this case so hard, she probably went to walk off, and he grabbed her. And she's like, don't grab me. And now they done fell back on the bed, and he on top of her. And then the king walked in like, oh, not only did you try to get me to kill my woman, not only did you try to get me to kill the man that saved my life, you trying to get me to kill my woman. Now you're trying to force yourself on her. You know what I mean? Come on. Keep going.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered him his face.
It says the word went out of his mouth, they covered his face. You know how you see on the movies now, they come with they put the black bag over your head. You know what I'm saying? They say the Men in Black and the CIA, how they come and throw that black sackcloth over your head. That's what they just did with him. It's all, no, you coming. Keep going.
Verse 9. And Harbonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standing in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Yeah, look, dude came and said, hey, excuse me, king, but he did make this gallows over here. It'd be a shame. All that money, all that construction, you know what I'm saying? It'd be a shame to waste these gallows. Now he done got hung. You got something.
Kind of say, you see how amazing this Bible is, man, and I don't understand how a group of niggas can sit up while they smoking weed and try to disclaim this, change the stories around in the Bible like they just some, like what's the word they use? It's just like they not real. Like the people in the Bible wasn't real.
Yeah,
none of the stories in the Bible wasn't real. None of that stuff. And I'm seeing that it's more and more that's happening. And when we sit here and go through these pages like this, man, this is so amazing and so inspiring.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest with you, man. It just show how a black. I don't know what's wrong with our people, bro. Of today, man. I'm serious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I could, it's like, you know what I mean? It's the brainwashing. You know what I'm saying? It's the brainwash. This sister, Esther, and Mordecai kept his identity. He kept his national pride for his people. You know what I mean? They were keeping the laws. He was still keeping the laws. And then he raised that sister to be that way. You know what I mean? And they're proud of their people. Like you said, that's something that we don't have nowadays because we don't even know who the heck we are. You know, when you take somebody's identity away from them, you take in all sense of their natural sense of pride and strength and honor away from them because we don't know where we came from. You know what I'm saying? We have nothing to be proud of. All these other nations are proud of their ancestry. You see this dude, Haman, he's doing that because of his people, because when we went to war with his people back in the day, he hates us for something, you know what I'm saying? Because of a dispute between our people. To the point where the point where the heathen tripped himself up and got hung on his own gallows. Good night. you had some car? Keep going.
Chapter 8, verse 1. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman the Jews enemy unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
Now she's begging him now. They done hung Haman, and she like, basically take the hit off my people. Take the bounty off. Let's reverse this thing that he did, because if you don't, it's still going to happen. And then people going to come up expecting that $10,000 per head. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king and said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, then it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come into my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he had laid his hand upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews, as he liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name, and be sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
Right.
Then were the king's scribes called at the time, but at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and the deputies, and the rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia.
Okay. So now everybody knows what just happened. You know what I mean? They got a heck of a way to spread the information. I ain't gonna hold you. They make sure everybody in every language gets a copy. Yeah, take a flyer. Keep going.
God, in 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to their language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders and on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Now, see what happened was it just reversed back onto his people. Now you were going to kill all the women, all the kids. You was going to unalive everybody in every province. Now your people not safe. Now your people are going to be the ones getting arrested. Your people are going to be the ones getting mass unalived. You know what I mean? That's how the Lord works. The Lord used Esther. The Lord used this situation and reversed it right back on them heathens' heads. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it up for our king and our God, our power. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 12. Upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all the people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies.
Now, he said, look, that day that they was going to do that on you, now y'all should be ready. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. We got it. You get ready. It's your turn now. Keep going.
Verse 14. So the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandments. And the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
That's right. I'm right.
Chapter 9, verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, with the king's commandment and his decree drew near.
Oh, Slagi, I do want to explain. It said many of the people of the land became Jews. That does not mean spiritual Israelites or spiritual Jews. Okay. Right. What that means is they fell in line with our way of living. They fell in line with us. You know what I'm saying? They became servants to us. They agreed to be underneath us, and we are over them. You know what I mean? Just like we do when we follow Islam. You know what I'm saying? Brothers follow Islam, they go right up in there and they put that dress on and they wrap their head up and they everything that is required of them to do, they do it. You know what I'm saying? So this is not them becoming Israelites. This is more like them converting to follow Jewish customs. You know what I mean? So that's all that is.
So it's like, if I can, so that's like when you have Mashiach come back and destroy this place and set up his kingdom, and we start ruling again.
Exactly.
No more celebrating Christmas.
Right.
No more celebrating birthdays.
Exactly.
Better not catch your ass smoking weed.
Right.
You know, stuff
right.
like that.
It's to say that, yeah, Khan, that is the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's glorious. Continue.
And his decree drew near to be put in execution in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had ruled over them that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the province of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt.
Now see, that has to be a glorious feeling. You know what I'm saying? To rule over the people that were going to hurt you. We are going to know that feeling. That is our future. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord said there's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And think it not strange these things happen to you. Well, guess what? It happened back then. And look where they're at. It's going to happen again right now with us here in America.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Keep going.
And no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people. And all the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and officers of the king helped the Jews because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces for this man. Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all the enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshat the Dalphon, and Aspathah, and Parathah, and Adalia, and Aradatha, and Parmashta, Arasai, and Aradai.
You can skip down to 10. Yeah.
The 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king.
Keep going.
And the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace. And the 10 sons of Haman, what have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is this? Now what is in thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. Or what is thy request further? And it shall be done.
And she had the king wrapped around her finger. Anything, whatever you want, baby. Just ask me. That's all you gotta do. Just some people is like they get pleasure out of pleasing a beautiful woman like that. So I just want to see you smile. Whatever you want. And see whatever she asked for. Go ahead, sir.
I know there wasn't nobody praying for the enemy. They weren't trying to join hands.
Nope.
The Christian, they weren't trying to get together and everybody praying with each other and all that nonsense, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, that lie that the Christian church will tell today. How Christ died for everybody.
Right.
We got a nation that's over us and that hate us.
Oh, God.
And our people being taught that we need to forgive and love these people, man, which is crazy. And this story right here is, once again, that's just amazing to me how they wasn't playing. Slaughtered 500 guys in one day. You know, like you said, that his words turned on him. Now it went from the Jews being under fear and scared to death to what it turned over to them, man. It's just standing out how amazing it is and how, once again, the leadership of the day done failed our people and got us all messed up in the head with all that love crap.
Con.
This is something else right there.
It is, and This story of Esther is a shining example of what a sister who is in order
That's right.
can do.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said at the beginning, she ain't throw no armor on and start
Right.
to lead the men into battle and come on, Israel, we're gonna. She ain't do all of that. You know, she ain't do no Joan of Arc bull crap. You know what I'm saying? She ain't do that. What she did was she stayed a woman. She stayed in her place as a woman, and she followed orders of the man that was
That's
above
right.
her,
That's right.
which is Mordecai.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Mordecai told her to do it, and she did it. He told her, don't do this, and she didn't do it. She held on, and she stayed humble and followed those orders, and it is the reason that if you are watching this video right now, if you are watching this stream, live stream, it turns to a video if you're watching the video, and you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, if you're an Israelite, one of the reasons you're here today is because of this sister Esther.
That's right.
Because if it was not for Esther, if she was a hard-headed, neck rolling, eye rolling, disobedient, don't want to hear nothing, my man got money type, like y'all are today, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
We would not be here. You know what I'm saying? Is there any more on that?
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it so to be done.
And the reason he's like, that's kind of brutal. No, you got to get rid of them sons too.
Damn right.
Because they going to grow up to want revenge for their dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that back then, that's just the way it was. Like,
Right.
you lost your family. Don't worry about your family. They coming with you.
Damn right.
You know what I mean?
Ain't gonna have to worry about him 10, 20 years later.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's just wise what you did.
That's right.
Keep going.
God, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men in Shushan. But on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together. It's like they gathered themselves together and stood for their lives and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes 70 and 5,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
They did what?
On the 14th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
And on the 13th and the 14th, that's what we've done. This is how we got the Feast of Purim.
That's right.
This is the story behind Purim. You know what I mean? Keep going.
But the Jews that were in Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same day they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns, made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both night and far.
So Mordecai wrote these. He said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make this a day of feasting. We're going to be giving food and handing it back and forth. And we're about to celebrate. And this is going to be what we do forever. Keep going.
God, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, in the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai has written unto them, because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them,
Mm-hmm.
and had cast Pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews,
Mm-hmm.
should return upon his own head.
And that's what happened. Turned on his head, his family's head, all his people.
That's right.
Him and his sons were hanged from the same gallows that he made
Right.
to hang Mordecai at. You know what I mean? His people are now being slaughtered and run out the land instead of us.
Right.
Keep going.
And that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore they called these days Purim,
Who?
Purim,
Feast of Purim. Go ahead.
after the name of Pur.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they had been concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them,
Mm-hmm.
and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them,
Mm-hmm.
so as it should not fall, that they should weep, that they would weep these 2 days according to their written.
No, read that right. Read that right.
God, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fall,
Fail.
fail.
Mm-hmm.
I can get blurry.
No, you good.
That they would keep these 2 days according to the writing and according to the appointed time every year.
So now this is why we do this. You know what I'm saying? It was appointed to us to keep these 2 days every year. And that's what we do. Today is the closing of the Feast of Purim. You know what I mean? We feasted. We at the opening we feasted a grand feast.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We had strong drink. You know, we had a lot of brotherhood, a lot of sisterhood. We had a great time.
Right.
And today is the closing of the feast. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing is happening today all around the world, like it is supposed to, with the Isupk, the Commander General Yohana. You know what I mean? The Feast of Purim is a feast that we are remembering when Esther,
That's right.
in all of her feminine glory, saved Israel. You know what I mean? And she said Mordecai is given high honor. His name is mentioned all before you even hear of Esther, you hear Mordecai. And Mordecai is not the book of Mordecai. This is the book of Esther, because that sister saved our nation. But guess what? She saved our nation because she listened to Mordecai.
Right.
You know what I mean? At one point, even when she was about to start getting comfortable, he had to tell her, hey, if you get comfortable, you think that you're going to survive the slaughter? You know what I'm saying? That brother, he kept this sister on her feet. He kept that sister's head out of the clouds. And as they say, kept her ass off her neck. You know what I mean? And made sure that she was wise in her movements. She was calculated, and she did everything the right way.
Right.
She followed his instructions to the T and saved the lives of our people. If it was not for Esther, there would be no blacks, no Hispanics, and no Native Americans anywhere on the planet, because we would have gotten slaughtered out of existence because of that, because of, what's her name, Haman, because of Haman. You know what I'm saying? A wicked oppressor who hated us and wanted to see us annihilated. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if there's any more than that.
Keep doing looks like the Passover, we're supposed to keep it
Yeah.
for the generations.
Keep going, yeah.
Verse 28. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
Mm-hmm. Do what?
Throughout every generation.
So every generation, look, that's from now until forever, until there are no longer any of us on this planet. Keep going.
Every family.
That means my family, your family, and the families of the brothers in here. If you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you are supposed to be celebrating the Feast of Purim. Keep going.
Every province.
No matter where you're at, every province, that's every state that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
And every city.
That's up front and so keep going.
And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews.
So the days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, ever. Keep reading.
Nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
Right. Neither the memorial should not perish from our seed. That means we are to pass these traditions down. We are to teach our children. We're to make sure that our children celebrate them so that they can pass it down. And that's how you stay a nation. Our oppressors all over the world, every shape, creed, size, and color, believe that they're better than us because they know their identity and where they came from.
Right.
And they're obedient to their leadership
Right.
structure. You know what I'm saying? They don't buck up again. Donald Trump just said something goofy in the news today, and millions of people watching Trump and following him. These heathens know how to stick together. The problem is we have forgotten. Keep going.
Verse 29. Then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim in the times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of the fastings and the cry. And the decree of Esther was confirmed, these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
And there we go, written in the book. Which book? This book right here.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
And the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews.
Mordecai was next where Haman was, now Mordecai is. And he was great among the Jews. He's a very celebrated, very important, very well-respected man amongst, if nobody else, he had that respect from us. Keep going.
And accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed.
And that is the story of Esther. You know, you've seen how this developed. The heathen king through a celebration. This heathen woman refused to go and see him. This is how the Lord set all of this in motion.
Right.
This heathen woman refused him. He threw a contest. Hands down, baddest woman in the contest was Esther. But that sister had a very good mind and a very good spirit about her. She stayed humble. She didn't take anything more than what she was offered. She stayed humble the whole time. She helped where she could, but most of the part, she just stayed feminine and delicate. Remember, the scripture stated our women were so delicate that the soles of their feet could not touch the ground because of how tender and delicate they were.
Right.
So that was this sister right here. She didn't need no special feminine made armor with the breast and the breastplate. You know what I mean? She didn't need no enchanted sword. You know what I mean? None of that. That woman, Esther, used what she had as a woman to save our nation.
That's right.
So it is time for you, sisters, to step it up. Use your femininity. Use your patience. Use your love. Use the things that the Most High gave you to help save our nation, because we're back in captivity.
That's right.
Under an evil oppressor that wishes to eliminate us, just like in the book of Esther. So now we need one of you sisters to step up and become another Esther. Spiritually, though, you don't go sleep with no heathens. Right. But coming to the Isupk under Commander General Yohana, and sisters, yes, you also help us build this truth.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And with that, my name is Priest and Officer 1000 Maya. We are the Isupk, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. If it's not Isupk under Commander General Yohana, it is not the truth. This has been the closing of the Feast of Purim. Shalom.
Excellent.
Hey, rock, sir.
Shit, man.
You know what? So excellent, special class, sir.